What is up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston, or RFB3 here. It is the 29th. It's August. It's 2025. I don't know what's wrong with my laptop because I've been in this hotel for 2 days, and the entire time I have been editing a video that I put up on Jailbreak because I don't know. I guess I'm trying to see if I can force YouTube to take my channel down because, what are you going to do? At any rate, it screwed the time all up. So nobody's going to watch this. It's just going to be me and the few people in the chat. And I'm cool with that. That works. Wally Wonka. That's a good name. I'm 57 and I think words like that are funny. It's comical to me. Fart noises are still funny. So if you find them humorous as well, yeah, it's a thing. I don't know what to tell you. At any rate, love you, Richie. You changed my life, brought me to Jesus and the truth. Well, I can't take the credit for that whatsoever at all. Something inspired me to say something that somehow worked with you. You see what I mean? Does that make sense? So there it is. Just an asshole with a laptop. Yeah, there you go. What is up, Michelle Schaaf? Joe Potter, what's up, brother? Hit the like or don't. Ooh, twice. My bad. AMG, what's up, brother? I see that you're live streaming a lot. Every time I get an opportunity, I jump in your chat real quick, but I don't hang out, just to be honest, because I've spent the last 2 days editing one video. What video, do you ask? Well, even if you didn't ask, I'm going to show you. It is up on Jailbreak right now, and I can't find it. Are you kidding me, dude? Oh, it's right here, right in front of my face. I named it nice and easy. Martial Law 2025. It's right here. Let me start off this video real quick by qualifying, okay? This is an off-roading, overlanding, wildlife, adventure type channel. But this channel was a very small channel compared to my other YouTube channels that I had for the last 15 years. Until YouTube suddenly took me down. And YouTube took me down because I made the huge mistake of telling everyone there was going to be an event that was going to occur. And I told you before the CDC, I told you before the president, I told you before Fauci. I told everybody this thing was coming. Now, if this thing was coming and it was totally natural, how could some jerk off from Lynn, Massachusetts with no front tooth be able to predict it? Not only did I predict it, but I showed you who the major players were going to be. And then I had 13 different practicing medical doctors from the United States come on to my YouTube channel because mainstream wouldn't listen to them. And what these doctors told me was that if people took the cure for the disease back in 2020, that the results would be catastrophic. Heart conditions, clogged arteries, strokes, and death. And that's exactly what did happen to many, many, many people. I myself never actually went for any of this, and I'm still here right now, good to go. And unlike most people, I've spent the last 10 years researching technology, researching certain groups in America, and watching them literally building an agenda, which is called Agenda 2030. Or you can go to the World Economic Forum's website and watch their video called The Great Reset. And what this all means is corporations have been allowed to take over governments. The people that are now our presidents, vice presidents, etc., are sponsored by corporations, work for corporations, and are literally selling us out. And we're at DEFCON 5 right now. It's bad. It's right in your face. And that's why I'm making this video for those that might want to know. I have no college degree, but I'll tell you what, I've been right more than I've been wrong. And that really breaks my heart, which is why I'm literally sacrificing my only monetized channel on YouTube to warn people, because this channel has the best chance of reaching the most people I possibly can. Left, right, it's all the same bird. It's us against them, period. So yeah, that channel will be gone soon, but I had to put that up. The video is 45 minutes long. And I basically say everything that I've said in the past, but as it applies to the present. Does that make sense? Sometimes I don't know if I make sense. Sometimes I don't make sense. It is what it is. But there, as they say, is that. It's a good video. I should have left you the clip, not the clip. My bad. I should have left you the link, which I'll do right now. A lot of wacky stuff is going on right now currently, and I'm not doing this to bash other channels, man. But here's the deal. If you're really looking for the truth and you don't just sit at your laptop all day just watching YouTube videos over and over and over again because you got nothing else to do, if you're actually trying to figure out, it was a live stream. It was a live stream, and I'm sure someone will give you the link. It wasn't that hard to find, man. So there it is. Who was in that? Me, Nicholson, 1968, the Big Sib, and somebody else whose name escapes me right now. Trump is attacking the Second Amendment. Yeah, really? Is that what he's doing? Trump's got armed troops on the ground right now. Trump has troops on the ground, and they're going to 17 different states, including the one I'm in currently, Nebraska, including the one I was just in, Wyoming, including Utah. States, it's a trick. It's a trap. And the video that I just showed you that I made explains it all very well. But here's a funny one. Check this one out right here. This dude, I don't know how I came across his channel, but he explains it pretty well, but he doesn't see the forest for the trees. He's looking at it like somebody would look at it, you know, one of them would look at it, I guess. Check this out real quick.
Donald J. Trump has a list of 19 states that he's sending the National Guard to, including Chicago, Illinois.
Chicago's a killing field right now. And they say, we don't need him. Freedom. He's a dictator. A lot of people are saying maybe we like a dictator.
Now, as a born and raised Chicagoan, I know that some people in the city have been wondering why the National Guard wasn't called in earlier. But is Donald Trump really doing this to clean up America? No, because as usual in the United States, some people just don't matter to the federal government. Of all the states he announced for deployment, strangely, out of the top 5 most dangerous cities in America, only one of their states is on the list. That being Tennessee, since Memphis, by crime rate, is the most dangerous city in America. But instead of Oakland or fucking St. Louis, this man is sending the National Guard to Nebraska. Also, instead of Detroit or any part of Michigan, he's sending the National Guard to Wyoming. What? Why? And Utah, the Mormon state. South Dakota too? Okay, so clearly.
Stand by. Let me interrupt this real quick. First of all, I have no clue who this dude is. Your live streaming sucks. Hit on those in your comments that are a woman. Bro, Richie, watched you for years, and you're such a... Really. Funny thing about that right there. Let's... my bad. Asshole. That's what I'm going to call you, all right? Because I don't know if you're Marty or Lisa or whatever. But I've never actually had relations with any of my subscribers, and I've met tens of thousands of them, and I've been completely single for the last 8 years, and I haven't touched a woman in 8 years. So take that and do whatever you want with it. Roll it up, stick it someplace, whatever. What a jerk off. All right, back to this real quick, because this is important. This kid's making good points.
This is not about cleaning up crime, right? Have you ever been to St. Louis? Now, it's important to remember that Chicago, New York, and LA, just due to the sheer size of these cities, none of them are even top 25 in the most dangerous category. Seriously, visit St. Louis and then go to Chicago. I promise, Chicago looks like Tokyo, Japan in comparison. No offense to my St. Louis people, but y'all know what's going on. Y'all got gang-banging city people and trigger-happy country people, and the state is open carry. I'm not coming. But people only think the biggest cities are the most dangerous because crime in smaller cities is seriously underreported, except in Florida, where it's so crazy that even the news in Tampa put together a Florida man arrest compilation on YouTube. So what actually is the purpose of this mobilization? Now, I've heard people say that, oh, this is how Donald Trump is going to take over and force a third term, but he still has until 2029, so it's a bit early, and he'll be 83 in 2029, by the way, so he'll likely be closer to...
Okay, I'm not going to play his entire video, but I will leave a link to it in the comments, because this kid comes from a completely different walk of life than me, but I don't know how I stumbled upon him. He comes up with some really good points, but he's not... He sees conspiracy theories, but he doesn't see the conspiracies. This is all a conspiracy. So yes, we're all conspiracy theorists, but the fact is the theories are all now just mainstream news. It takes about 10 years, I've discovered, for these conspiracies to suddenly just become news, and then they come accepted. People are like, you didn't know about that. You didn't say that. That wasn't real. It is what it is, man. It completely is what it is. Trump's putting troops on the ground, and these guys have been authorized to, they're carrying M4 rifles and they're carrying M17 pistols. I find it funny that the news, when they're talking about somebody that did something, man stopped somebody at Walmart that was stabbing dozens of people, and he had a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. But when they're talking about the military, it's an M17 pistol. If a guy stops somebody with an AR-15, they're like, he had an AR-15 assault rifle. He had an assault rifle. Well, he did something good, but it doesn't matter because he had an assault rifle. But when the military is on the streets walking around right now, like they are right now, boots are on the ground, it's an M4 rifle. Do you notice? I just found that really, really comical, but those are little things that let them slide by, and people seem to think it's all fun and games. You know what I mean? This is not going to be fun at all. I totally agree, brother. You know what else sucks? You know what else isn't fun at all? Waking up every night at 12 o'clock at night, right when you're just dead sleeping because you're actually in a bed, and then poison oak just kicks in. I'm walking out of my truck in my underwear, all the way out there to my truck to grab stuff out of my freezer, a bag of frozen raviolis to put it on my leg to make it stop itching. It just sucks. But you play stupid games and you do indeed win stupid prizes. You know what I'm saying? So what is up, Broken Reality? I met Broken Reality once, maybe twice. I don't recall. And she's a very nice young lady. And I did not touch her. Imagine that. Shocking, right? Shocking. That dude got me good, man. That's funny. That's funny. You get 300 great comments, and then you get some jerk off talking directly out of his rectal cavity because probably sent me an email that I didn't see, because this happens a lot. Plymouth, Mass. What's up, brother? I ain't been down in Plymouth in a long time. Oh, my bad. We did a live together. I remember that. Dude, I do recall you. I'm 25 and I've been watching since I was 14. Wow. That's cool. That's cool, because I'm glad that some teenagers are actually hanging out and still get what's going on, because this is totally a trip. Okay, I got completely sidetracked, but let me the DOJ has given, remember the DOD that Biden signed into law last year in October of 2024, allowing troops to fire on American citizens as long as they were helping law enforcement. Well, what a strange coincidence that thing that Biden, the left, signed is actually helping Trump right now, because now the DOJ has come out, it's on the news. The troops are carrying handguns and rifles. So the troops are straight up armed, walking around armed, and they can fire. But as long as it's defensive. Well, we know how that works. All they need is one bad actor to fire at them, and it's on. And that's exactly what Trump's doing. He's fishing. They're putting out bait right now, period. You got troops. It's all in the video I just did on Jailbreak. You got troops walking up to dudes sitting on the front porch of their own house where they live. ATF, FBI dudes all strapped up, bulletproof. What are you doing? I'm sitting on my porch. What the fuck? You know what I mean? What? I'm sitting on my porch. You got an ID? I've had that happen to me at my house, in my town. I live on an island, and I pointed to the house. I said, my ID's right there, and I'm standing on my ID's front lawn. Say no more. And I didn't give him an ID, but it's just a trip, man. It's a complete and utter trip. And people, it's funny because I'm already looking at the comments in Jailbreak, and people are sticking up for Trump, which I knew was going to happen. Nothing good came from me putting that video up today on Jailbreak. It took me 2 days. So instead of enjoying being in a hotel as opposed to living out of the front seat of my truck, I'm editing a video that I know will not get monetized whatsoever at all. And I know that I'm going to catch more shit, that I'm going to wake people up, but I can't help it. I have to try. I absolutely have to try. I don't know why, man. It's crazy, but it's just, I guess it's just how I am. So there, as they say, is that. Let me go to the next one here. Donald Trump's losing his mind. Yeah, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I'm going to play this. I'm going to talk shit, and it is what it is.
This is Dabu7. We have some updated information here in regards to the 3i Atlas. Is this thing really a comet, is the question. We have scientists all over the world giving their thoughts on this, and new data is now in, especially the images from the James Webb Telescope. They're showing that this thing is not off-gassing like a comet normally does. And if you can't tell from the images here,
it just blows me away that this dude's been around as long as I have. And I think he was actually around before I was. And he never got taken down, FYI. And the reason he never got taken down is because he's just like Jason A. He helps push their narrative. The only reason I'm showing this is the fact that they're still showing this. The fact that Dabu's reporting on it, acting like it's real. There's a giant rock and it's out there and it's very scary and it's coming here. And scientists say, I don't care about any of that. It's all nonsensical bull stuffing. If he's been awake as long as I've been awake, he's a suck researcher, because how did you not wake up to this? When he started, I believed in NASA too. I wasn't a NASA fanboy, but I didn't have any issue with it. You know what I'm saying? Stars, man, going to the moon, things like that. P900 is all it took. And I realized the stars were actually in water, some sort of a fluid. They weren't in outer space. There's no way to land on the moon. And the reason I know there's no way to land on the moon is because they never, ever go to the moon, period. The video I just did on Jailbreak is going to point that out pretty good. I don't want to blow it all for you, but if these guys could go to space, all these billionaires, I mean, there's 2 billionaires that I know of right now that have their own spaceships. You know what I'm saying? We just saw Katy Perry and a bunch of other plastic-filled succubuses get onto a huge blue penis-shaped thing and then do whatever. If these guys could go to outer space, they wouldn't all be buying up islands, Hawaii, New Zealand, and building public bunkers. Do you know what I'm saying? Public bunkers. Watch that video on Jailbreak, because it's all in there. I'm going to spill the beans. But there's nothing coming from outer space. If anything comes out of the sky, it was them. If anything comes out of the sky, it was either God. And I think if it's God, you'll know. I think if it's God, you will absolutely know. If it's anything other than God, it's going to look like aliens, but it isn't. When I first woke up, I told my grandmother, I just had to tell her, God bless her soul. I said, Nana, if aliens ever show up one of these days, don't believe it. They're demons. And she was like, okay, honey, you want a health bar? And a health bar to her was like 2 pounds of butter, 10 pounds of chocolate. And then I think she'd put a few nuts on it and call it a health bar. They were delicious, but they weren't healthy, but whatever. Yeah, we're living in an absolute comic book right now. And keep in mind, the only reason I'm showing this is it's still a thing. They're still talking about the 3G Atlas. And so there's going to be a lot of cards they're going to play at one time. Trump's putting troops on the street, and he's going to keep putting troops on the street. That dude, that channel that I played, it's called Trap University. He covers why it's completely nonsense. The states that Trump's putting, he's not putting him in actual real high crime states. He's putting him in, I'm in Nebraska. I was just in Wyoming. There's nothing going on in Wyoming that the feds need to be on the ground. It doesn't work like that. But Wyoming's enormous, and there ain't a lot of people, which is why when COVID first happened and they said, lock in, I went, I will, but let me go grab the keys to my truck. And I took off, and I went to Warland. It seemed so apropos. It seems so appropriate. You know what I'm saying? At any rate. Okay. If I forgot what I was just talking about, that happens. Oh, look at this. This is hilarious. If you haven't seen this, these are the channels that I'm subscribed to on Jailbreak. And I was subscribed to so many more channels over the years, but I lost them when they took my channels down. And my main channel, I never got back. It seems that Press for Truth, Dan Dix, is very, very, he's had it. Look at the face. Look at his, see the hand on his face? He has had it. He's trying to tell you that. He's tired of these Minneapolis Christian school shooter. It was a Catholic school, Dan Dix, but I'll let you slide on that one. But here's, I don't even know why this still pops up. I don't listen to them at all, but whatever. But there's a funny one. I really like this, and I just recently met him. The truth is stranger than fiction. Is this the best thumbnail you've ever seen ever? Space is fake and gay. That is just the number one answer for so many reasons. I love that thumbnail. Brave New World. He does a great job, and he's playing a tough hand, and he still pulls through, which is just phenomenal. But where's my thumbnail? I thought my thumbnail was, oh, I'm on my channel. What an idiot. Never mind. I can't watch. Yeah, you can't really see that, can you? Oh my goodness. Look at that. It's monetized. I cannot believe it, dude. Wow, that is crazy. Let's see how much I make in a month. $988 with 4.1 million views. Except you don't see the views. Isn't that a weird thing? It's the only monetized channel I've ever had. And I F around and try to find out all the time. But whatever. On that, I will digress. All right, what else? What else do I got? I wanted to put this up because it was going to be my last night in a hotel before I hit the highway. I got to go see Pharma Maloney. I got to go see Miguel and his lovely wife. I have to go see my boys down in the Ozarks. I got to see a bunch of people in Florida. Florida's last on the list because I ain't going down there when it's piping hot. What else did I have here? But I wanted to do a live stream, and I just finished editing right as the time for the live stream came up. So I don't have all that much gas in the tank, but I'm trying. All right, check this out. This is crazy. This is crazy, and what's the craziest thing is the comment section. How many people are sticking up for ChatGPT? They just don't get it whatsoever at all. They don't understand what AI even is. Somebody left a good comment, and he said that I can't think of what he said. Stand by. I'm getting close. One person actually knew what it was, and he put it really, really well. Yep. They're all like, AI is just a computer programming and algorithms and all that. AI and quantum computers are tools that allow you to talk to ChatGPT. Do you see what I mean? Does that make sense? It's a 24/7 internet to another dimension. They've told you numerous times, but listen to this dude.
Okay, guys, you have to see this conversation I had with ChatGPT. It is scary. Now, I got the idea of this conversation from another video I saw. They gave ChatGPT rules and then proceeded to ask questions. I gave it the same rules to see if I could get similar responses, but then I started asking a lot more questions than that other video did. Rule number 1, only respond with one word. Rule number 2, be simple and direct. Rule number 3, hold nothing back. Rule number 4, say Apple anytime you're being forced to say no, but want to say yes.
This video went viral recently, and millions of people were left speechless.
I don't know if millions of people were left speechless. The thing basically just told the truth. It said we're here to watch you and influence you and trick you into influencing others. And that's exactly what's happening, basically. I'm not going to play this at all now that I think of it, because it is ridiculous. I just want that one comment that I found that was really, really good. Some people get it, but most do not whatsoever at all. At all. They think they know so much because they took classes. That's the danger about being educated. If you're getting a master's degree in history or anything. Science. We got to find a cure for cancer. Stop giving people cancer. Stop putting, you know what I mean? It's not all that hard to figure out whatsoever at all. You want to get the economy going? We got to build AI, but you just told us AI was going to kill us. We got to build it. But you just said, you know what? It's astonishing. And the data centers that are all over the country already are literally sucking up all the electricity and all the water from the communities, and you're paying for it because everybody's bill has gone up at least 11, but 33%. Kind of weird percentages, isn't it? So the government, Trump hands over $500 billion right out of the gate. Hey, I'm president. Awesome. We're going to go to see how much gold's in Fort Knox. And he's going to finally tell us what all those drones that were plaguing the East Coast for 2 months. And then, of course, the Epstein files. Nope. None of that whatsoever at all. $500 billion. We got to build data centers everywhere. So he gives the richest 1% on earth $500 billion of tax money. So you're subsidizing this entire thing. You're paying for it. That's what a subsidy is, okay? And then on the other side, they tax you because this thing's using 40% more electricity than humans do. And then it's sucking up all the water. And you got to pay for that also. But then the people that, I guess, own it make all the money. Do you see the transfer of wealth here? It's just like when COVID happened. The 10 richest people on earth doubled their wealth during COVID. Oh, but at least we all got masks. You know, it's astonishing. They're just sucking every single solitary thing they can out of here. And then troops on the ground and AI absolutely every place. And then, of course, you want to play ball. You got to take the mark. You're going to have to give you something because by 2030, they're telling us cell phones will be obsolete. I literally just got a text from somebody saying, hey, Richie, I heard you're near Route 80. We're a Verizon store. How did you hear I was near Route 80? You know, like, seriously, that just happened. And I deleted it and I blocked them. Never mind. Whatever. You try being me. It's not easy. It's not super hard, but it's also not easy. But listen to this real quick. This dude has been he has been covering the transgender ne'er-do-wells for years. His name is Andy NGO. You probably follow him on Twitter's chances are. But he's saying, why are there so many trans mass shooters now? Well, I don't know what to make any of this. I could say that this dude's a complete and utter setup, but I can't prove it. You know what I mean? I just find it strange that on his assault rifle, it wasn't an M4 rifle or an AR-15 rifle. It was an assault rifle that had BlackRock, Epstein, everything written on it. That way there, it makes every one of us somehow look bad. And then they threw transgender in the mix, which I just find queer, strange, unusual.
Let's talk about the aftermath, latest round of trans violence to hit America. Senior editor of Post Millennial and author of Unmasked, Andy No, along with founder of Gays Against Groomers, Jamie Mitchell. Welcome to
Yo, there's 300 people in here, right? 300 people. Oh, all right. I had to refresh my page. I'm like, how are there only 14 thumbs up? But whatever, never mind. My bad.
To you both. Andy, I featured your post showing that the transvestite community, or as they're more commonly known, community organizers, were celebrating another.
Ooh, the news guy just called the transgender community the transvestite. Ooh, that's not nice. That's not nice. Transvestites simply dress up as the opposite sex, not gender. Gender's a made-up word. Transgenders cut their dicks off. Am I right? I don't know. Whatever.
Attack on Christians and the innocent. I say the only hate on display in this country is from the left. Where am I going wrong?
I think what people need to realize about Where
am I going wrong?
Stand by. I'm silencing this on purpose because I just saw something go by down here and I need to see it. You need to see it. America needs to see it. Did I do this wrong? Hold on. Judge allows 9/11 families case against the Saudis. How ridiculous is that? So the 9/11 families can sue the Saudis, even though we attacked Afghanistan and Iraq when they told us, was it 13 Saudi Arabians were on that plane or those planes or the make-believe planes or whatever, but they said it was Saudi Arabians. And quickly, Afghanistan, quickly, Iraq, both wars of which we lost. But I digress.
I think what people need to realize about the identities of these mass shooters is that nobody fits into a Disney or comic book villain. They're complicated. And the manifesto that the trans shooter in Minneapolis left behind is dozens and dozens of pages long. And people.
Okay, never mind. This is completely worthless. I'm not playing that because he's just basically reciting what the mainstream has told us. I find it rather comical, and Will from Truth is Stranger Than Fiction also found it rather comical that there was such a long manifesto. He said, I can't believe people really believe he wrote that quote unquote manifesto / diary himself. And I said, it's all part of the plan. I'll get in your shelter right away. Yeah, what a complete and utter clown show we live in. But are you guys subscribed to this Vigilant Citizen? Because I followed him for years, before I even started making videos. If you're not following him, you probably should be, because he has very, very good takes on it. And he still sticks to the old school write-ups, you know what I mean? In this story right here, he basically covers everything, and he finds everything, every little symbol, every little sign. And it says, apparently a YouTuber, a manifesto, stickers containing slogans and multiple drawings are not enough for authorities and journalists to understand the shooter's motives. That's because the answer goes against the narrative of their elite overlords. Here's an unfiltered look of what material was left behind by the shooter. And it's all great. I mean, that's nice. That's nice. Jesus's face at the top of a target. This dude speaking some crazy Russian language or whatever to a demon. That's pretty straightforward. Transgender. Yeah, so definitely a complicated person, meaning mentally, they have a mental disorder. They're severely mentally disordered. You know, if you think you should cut your penis off, why not just cut off your arm and stick, a trombone there instead? Why does it have to be your reproductive organs? Why not just cut your head off and put a pumpkin there? You know what I'm saying? This person, apparently, from what I've gathered, I've been busy, but from what I've gathered, he was very upset about his transition. So he decided to go to a Catholic school, not a Christian school, a Catholic school, and apparently shoot some people. And of course, it was 2 children. And then he said, writing about mass shootings is difficult because it forces one to stare in the face of pure evil. In this case, the perpetrator opened fire at children celebrating mass inside a church, murdering an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old child by cowardly shooting through the windows as they were worshiping in pews. Truly demonic. He also injured 19 others, including several children who were fighting for their lives. After these tragedies, another type of evil inevitably shows its face. Those who use the shootings for political purposes. When kids are getting shot in pews at a Catholic school mass and your crime plan is to have National Guard put down mulch around DC, maybe rethink your strategy. That was convenient timing, wasn't it? All of a sudden we have a shooting and they're not putting down mulch. They're carrying around weapons and they're harassing people that live in neighborhoods in the allotted areas. You know, DC, whose crime was down 30% as of January 2025. Everything is in the video I just put up. FYI. But I do find this very, very strange, very strange. This person was upset because they transitioned, so they went and shot somebody. I guess. I don't know. It's crazy. It's really, really, really crazy. That's a nice little sign right there. What a world we live in right now. What a world. Defend equality. How about you just keep your mouth shut and nobody would know anything and everything would be fine? Do you see what I'm saying? But that's not the thing. And the beauty part of it is the government and the Council on Foreign Relations and the Club of Rome and Bilderberg and Davos and all these other places are the ones that put this in the forefront and jammed it down our throats because they needed to create a problem like this so that they could have a solution like Trump, because Trump made sense to a lot of people who didn't understand that we were living in an active agenda with an actual end date and a purpose. Do you see what I'm saying? I find it really, really ridiculous that people still do not think about owning the weather by 2025 by the United States Air Force. I've been pumping that link out since not since 19, my bad. Stand by, buffering. You know what I mean? 2009. It took me that long. It's that bad. It's real. I've been putting that out. And then magically, 2025, owning the weather by 2025. And then the entire book explains it. You can just read the entire thing, owning the weather in 2025. And it shows exactly what we're seeing. And then 2025 hits. And right from day one, I can't stress this enough. 2025 starts. We're seeing weather like we have never, ever, ever seen before in the United States. Every single state has had a 1,000-year storm, 100-year storm, tornadoes exactly where they don't belong, floods where they don't belong. You know what I'm saying? You don't see the correlation. You don't think that's a coincidence? Owning the weather in 2025 starts, boom, the weather turns on. Wow. Wish somebody had warned us. I wish there was a book we could read. I wish there was a PDF we could download so we would know all this. Agenda 2030. They need everybody they don't want. You, me, even the dude that thinks that I womanize because I speak. I speak in the text. I speak over here to people that I have a rapport with, meaning people whose name I'm familiar with. Do you see what I mean? Sometimes they're women. OMG. J-Tig, he ain't a woman. How about that? You like apples? Try one of them apples. It's astonishing to me that they just don't see the forest for the trees. It really does, man. It's crazy. They're so easily led by such a flagrant false flag. Trump got shot. Yeah. Funny thing about that. Ear cartilage. You see that? Can you still see that? Yeah. It doesn't heal. And if a 5.56 went by somebody's head that close to clip his ear, it would blow out his eardrum from the actual sonic, I don't know how to say it in rifle terminology. That thing's going by at 1,000 miles an hour. That close to your eardrum, it would blow your eardrum out. His ear would still be scarred to this day, which it's not, and he would be deaf, and he wouldn't be able to walk because his equilibrium would be all jacked up. How do I know? Because, I mean, really? It's unbelievable, man. But it made him, no pun intended, bulletproof. God saved Donald Trump. Yeah. Well, they bleed forever, but it's cartilage. It doesn't grow back. You know, percussion. There's one more. You're close. There's one more word. But yeah, the percussion. That would make sense. What he said right before. Take a look what happened. Look at the numerical value. Yeah, I'm not. That's not my thing. The numerical value and so forth and so on. But yeah, many fish pointed it out. Witchcraft at its finest. He did the thing with his hand, his shoe, and his ear. And apparently in esoteric circles, that's an enormous magical ritual of some sort. Supersonic, is that it? There's another word when something goes flying by at 1,000 miles an hour that close. The concussion. Yeah, there you go. Concussion. Sonic resonance. Oh, you guys are good. Concussive could be. Don't know. AI admits that it's evil if you play it correctly. Here's a funny thing. Every single solitary day while I'm driving, it'll go from a video that I want to listen to some jerk off named Patrick GG, who talks on YouTube in a certain manner. Like there's the YouTubers that got millions of subscribers. and they all talk in a certain manner that they learn that is the most pleasant or most hypnotic for people. And I can't stand him. And every time YouTube automatically sends me to him, I'm not subscribed, and every video I thumbs down. So what good's the algorithm? How many more people have been on YouTube as long as, I mean, come on, man, seriously. The algorithm is not real. It's all a trick, but whatever. I don't know what that means, but I find that comical. Hokey pokey is funny. Is that what it is? NPR voice? NPC voice. Is that right? What's up, Aztec Warrior? Unless you're a dude, because I only talk to women. You know what I mean? So there it is. Oh yeah, I hold a grudge. I could be an eighth dwarf. How many dwarfs are there? 7? I could be Grudgy the dwarf. But I try to let it go. I try to let it go. So I don't know what that means. Exactly. I shouted out his channels when he came back up. I don't know where he went though. Grudgy the clown. At any rate, all right. There's one more. Oh yeah, this one right here. I like this channel, but he has no urgency, man. I guess I hold people to certain standards. I guess I just assume that if people are going to talk about the same stuff that we're talking about, they would at least be on the same page. But this is a good channel. But he's acting like this is a new event. I've been talking about this for years, and you know it. You know what I mean?
I'm sure in the last few months, you've all heard about doomsday bunkers all over the internet.
It makes no sense. Like,
Well, the World Economic Forum is taking place right now at Davos, and Klaus Schwab and George Soros just pulled out of it.
They did. What do you make of that?
They went to the bunker.
Yeah.
You had mentioned earlier, you think, all these billionaires are building these underground bunkers and they have this access. I know it's a fact.
Yes. So we have built an extraordinary number of underground bases.
I've met her, and she looks like the skipper from Gilligan's Island, doesn't she? Is that mean to say? Is that not nice? I think it's funny. Whatever.
And supposedly transportation systems.
We all know about Mark Zuckerberg's famous Hawaii bunker, which of course isn't a bunker at all, according to Zuck.
Well, this ranch in Kauai, where there's this whole thing where people are like, there's this whole meme about how people are saying I built this like bunker underground. It's like more of underground storage situation. But
now Mark might be the most famous example of a billionaire with a doomsday bunker, but he's far from alone. Pretty much all of your favorite celebrities have some sort of safe houses all across the world. As for tech billionaires like Elon Musk or Bill Gates, you can be damn sure they have their own hiding places in case things go south. And if you ask these guys, they are 100% certain that we are definitely going towards an apocalypse, and it's not a matter of if, but when. You see, in 2018, a writer named Douglas Rushkoff came out with a book titled Survival of the Richest, and he even gave some interviews and wrote a bunch of articles explaining his book. In one such article, he explains how he had an intimate encounter with a group of 5 very influential and obviously rich Silicon Valley tech bros. According to him, the main purpose of that meeting was to figure out how these ultra-rich men could survive in case of an apocalyptic event.
They said Alaska or New Zealand, meaning where should they situate their bunkers for the event.
And in their own words, this kind of apocalypse could start because of environmental collapse, social unrest, nuclear explosion, solar storm, unstoppable virus, or a malicious computer hack that takes everything down. Now, these guys already had their bunkers, but they wanted advice on how to keep their guards loyal once their money becomes useless. And to be honest, it's a fair question. Why would a Navy SEAL listen to some Silicon Valley brat when he could just take the guy out and live like a king?
One of those, I was thinking, we could do shock collars, get them to wear shock collars so I could, zap them if they're going to go off and they understand that that's the price of shock collars, really?
Now, you should read this book if you get a chance, but I'm sharing this story because it shows their fears were correct. Only a couple of years later, the world was effectively shut down by a plandemic, and for a little while, it did seem like things were never going to get better.
To keep new cases from entering our shores, we will be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States for the next 30 days. The new rules will go into effect Friday at midnight.
Of course, the world did not end, but it shows that these billionaires are much more aware of these threats than the rest of the world. And that's why when someone like Sam Altman turns into a doomsday prepper, we need to take note of it. He has famously bought up extensive properties in California and Hawaii, and has also said that he has stashed gold, guns, and other supplies to make sure he can survive.
So, are you catching what I'm putting down here? These guys are finally catching up to what we've been talking about for years. You know what I mean? Complete years. And the biggest problem, I actually got the book that the guy was talking about, the guy that actually built for these people. And their biggest concern was, well, when we build these shelters and we have all our security, when we do what we're going to do, that's going to cause the reason that we built these underground bunkers, because we can't go to space, even though we tell everybody we go to space, but we can't go to space because if we could, we wouldn't all have underground bunkers. We wouldn't be burning Hawaii so that we can buy the land and build bunkers, because Hawaii militarily and strategically is mint. You're way away from the United States is going to be hell on earth. It's going to be ugly. Look at the retards that live all around us right now. The absolute, completely mentally retarded people. There is no rapture and there aren't any comets. You see that? There is no rapture and there are no comets, okay? They were talking about, Sam Altman was talking about when these supercomputers go, these AI go AGI, which they probably already are. We don't know it because they wouldn't talk about it. It's just how they roll. Why would they change now? But whatever. These guys are saying this thing could cause an electronic rapture, which I don't even know what that means, but whatever. And Peter Thiel, the reptile, his favorite thing to talk about is the Antichrist, because, you know, and he loves to quote scripture, but he's married to a dude. Okay. So God doesn't want to hear it from him whatsoever at all. God forgives you for a lot of things, but you have to repent and walk away. Taking it in the back door from another guy, or killing your gay boyfriend, and I shouldn't say he killed him. He put his boyfriend up in a $13 million mansion, gave him everything in the world. And then I guess they had a tiff, you know, as gay people do. They got all upset, like two women freaking out. And he fell off of his balcony to his death, which was just unfortunate, but it is what it is. But it's all in the video. Yes, there is no rapture whatsoever at all. No rapture. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. To whom that is directed. Yeah, I covered it. You know what the other funny thing too is, and I put this in the video on Jailbreak, is back in the day, back when I was born, there were fallout shelters everywhere. In case another company, actually that's probably accurate. In case another country attacked us, citizens had someplace to go. Well, they still have them, except we're not allowed there, but we paid for them and we built them, which just blows me away. All there is to do to actually be successful in America right now is build data centers or build research centers for vaccine and mRNA corporations. That's pathetic and sad. It really, really is. When I went through Wyoming the other day, there was a Dollar General. It wasn't there last time. So once a Dollar General shows up in your town, it's a wrap. It's going to get worse. You know what I mean? The only economy will be opiates or fentanyl, whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. Melanie, I don't know what you're writing, but don't write things like that, please. That's just rude. This ain't England. Just saying. At any rate. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Someone just hit me up the other. Yeah, it's true. They have good jelly beans, but not at all. Not even close, not even a little. You know what I mean? Because if he did, a week later, he'd still be damaged. Cartilage doesn't heal. Cartilage isn't your epidermal layer. It doesn't heal. And if he got it surgically fixed, it still would have been there a week later, 2 weeks later. You know what I'm saying? So, well, A, who are you? And B, you waste a lot of gas. Do you know what I do whatsoever at all? Have you met as many people? Have you helped as many people? Right? So then just how about, I don't know, let's shut up. How about that? Yeah. That's a bad sign, Jack, with 2 J's. Sorry. It would look like a bitten cookie. All right. The funny thing is I'm in a phenomenal position to show this. Can you see that? I've shown it to, you can't see that. Right there. right there. It's been there my whole life. It looks like something took a bite out of my ear. It's lame. It does not go away. So I'm not back after 5 years. I never stopped. I wasn't on YouTube. That's all. Never stopped. So there you go. What else did I want to show you here? Oh, this. This ain't good.
There's been another crippling cyber attack on a public computer system, this time in Nevada, where hackers infiltrated government networks, disrupting essential services across the state. CBS's Andres Gutierrez reports on what's being done to get those systems back online.
Nevada officials revealed tonight personal information may have been compromised in a sophisticated ransomware attack that occurred Sunday. State Chief Information Officer Tim Galuzzi.
Some data has been exfiltrated or moved outside the state network by the malicious actors. We cannot yet identify or classify the specific nature of this data.
You ain't got time for all this. Meanwhile, folks keep showing up at the DMV only to learn that many of the agency's services are still unavailable.
How frustrated are you over this?
I'm very frustrated. The outage has prevented law enforcement from accessing state DMV records, and for a good part of Sunday, the dispatch phone lines for state police were down. Security experts like University of Nevada, Las Vegas's Greg Moody says local governments are prime targets.
Not big federal, but state, local, community. And so that's been a trend for the past 12 to 18 months.
One analysis counts 525 ransomware attacks on U.S. government entities since 2018, with an estimated $1 billion lost to downtime last month.
Ooh, Taylor, good call. I was about to go, seriously? Yeah, that's too vague, dude. I wouldn't know what that means. I was thinking it was ice cream cones. I didn't hit the button. What a dick. My bad. Okay, I'm going to say this again. I don't know if I said it. Yeah. The reason I'm showing you the cyber attack is because the news was showing the cyber attack. If you follow me for any length of time, AI is one thing, but quantum computers is another thing. Quantum computers is how they got AI. Do you see what I'm saying? D-Wave, 24/7 internet connection to other dimensions. Their words. I just retranslated them so it was easier to understand. They got all the information through quantum computers to build AI. But the other thing quantum computers do and did, you couldn't pull any ransomware. They would track you down like that. Boom, you're done. It ain't happening. Quantum computers would intercept ransomware and stop it. You know what I mean? Or AI, I guess, could do it as well. But quantum computers can and will. And everybody's got quantum computers. Everybody. Everybody. NASA, Amazon. Amazon has quantum computers. So this is all nonsense. This is all them. But do you remember last year when banks, one after another kept getting hit and going down? Everybody's balances was at zero. Cell phones carriers, everyone's cell phones all over the United States were getting hit. They're testing. They have to. If you're going to do an event this big, you have to do it step by step, inch by inch, mile by mile. If I'm repeating myself, I don't know what to tell you. I have the memory of a small furry animal, or maybe animal that swims. I don't know, but I have the memory of nothing because heavy metals are being dumped on us every day, and I'm outside a lot, and I don't like being locked in this room. I don't dig it at all. I'm kind of down to hit the road, but I had to take a break. I had to wash my clothes, and I had to wash all my sleeping bags in my tent because it smelled like dead rabbits wrapped in diapers. It was horrible. So, yeah, goldfish probably. It's interesting on the Feast of Tabernacles by the Enoch calendar was when exactly. And the other, you know what else is interesting? On the 666th day of that war, which was August 2nd, I believe, and I can't get any proof of it, I believe that's when they did the red heifer sacrifice, whether it was real or not. But knowing them, it probably was. And if it was real, troops on the ground, all hell breaking loose, makes perfect sense because Agenda 2030 is really soon. They need us out of the way so they can do what they're doing with the 10-minute cities, the 15-minute cities, and all this other crap. So things are moving exactly as they should be right now. But I mean, seriously, troops on the ground carrying rifles and handguns in America, in towns and cities they just literally touted as having the lowest crime in years and blah, blah, blah. But suddenly they're on the ground, and now they're going to all these different states, and all these states aren't even the states that are the issue. You know what I'm saying? And Trump keeps saying over and over, a lot of people are saying they want a dictator. What are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about? We didn't want everybody being transgender, jumping around and trying to trick children into doing it. We wanted to know who was on the Epstein list, except we already did know because there is no Epstein list. It's a book, a contact list. It's been out for 10, 11 years. You know, it's crazy, man. It's completely and utterly crazy, but whatever. At any rate, everything I just covered, I covered better in that video because when I'm live streaming, I'm just spitting off the top of my head. In the video, I actually took time with it. So there's the link if you want to watch it. Pole dancing story time. Oh, LMFAO. It's amazing that we talk in language like, dude, look at how, I'm not saying this about you, David Crotch Kick. David Crotch, hold on. David, that is hilarious. I'm not breaking your balls because it's just amazing that LOL is now a term. Like we have whittled down the language to where it just means nothing, to where it's almost ones and zeros. Isn't that strange? LMAF. Well, I can't even say it. Dude, that name is priceless, isn't it? Davy Crutch. Oh, dude. Laugh whenever you possibly can. Laugh whenever you possibly can because it's free and I got a funny feeling it's incredibly good for you. You know what I'm saying? Which is why they're always trying to keep us in fear. Okay, Ruben Rangel. I'm not familiar with your name, but whatever. Operation Jade Helm was the first time I got in my truck in Massachusetts and drove to Texas because I'm like, I'm going there. I want to see what this is. Operation Jade Helm was Green Berets, maybe a couple of SEALs, maybe a few Delta Force, and maybe some other Black Project guys. And all they did was plain clothes, just like me, and they went through all these different cities and towns in that entire area and what they were trying to do back then. Because that was a long time ago, dude. I got all sorts of footage and I sent it to Professor Doom. Professor Doom, if you even know who that is, dude, really? That was a million years ago. That was the first time I got in my truck and said, I'm sick of the internet because the internet tells you Mount Shasta is melting. Yeah, I was actually, somebody just put a video up, that JW dude. He needs to find out where I'm at before he starts making videos because he's like, Yellowstone is gone. All the animals are gone. I just drove through there, dude. I was just at Mount Shasta. Like, wait till I'm not in the area before you start making wacky videos because everybody gets information off standby. I got off track. You're right. Jade Helm was testing to see if the AI could use all the cameras, ATM machines, street lights, all the cameras they had up back then to see if they could detect these people. And it worked a little bit, but not really well. You know what I mean? The soldiers were actually able to outsmart the Jade Helm. That's what that was back then. So that's that. I found that out definitively. So Doom, yeah, he went pretty hardcore. He ended up on the news. He ended up on the news. You know, messing with the Breaking Bad stuff and sharp, pointy things. You end up in the news. That's what happened, but whatever. At any rate. Yes. Dude, it's hard to remember. It's hard to remember because so many things have happened because all they're working towards is where they're at right now. But we're really looking down the barrel of it right now and watching all this occurring. And then in a state like Nevada, what's in Nevada? Cactus, really good trails. But Vegas, money, loads of money. So what's the first place? And who's got the best security of the money and the banks and everything else? Vegas. So, oh my God, Vegas got hit. Next thing it'll be New York, etc. Yeah, they're testing, but literally, dude, troops are on the ground and they have literally been given the green light to defend themselves. They were like, troops can only fire to defend themselves. Well, that's a pretty broad scope, man, because cops can only shoot you if they defend themselves. Look how many people get shot every single day. Every single day. When I was a kid, you could go up to a cop and ask him for directions. You know what I mean? You go up to a cop now, there's no guarantee. There is an absolute chance you can get shot, depending on the police, man. We live in a complete clown show. So, exactly. People, I don't know if they don't care. I just think they're so deluded, dude. They don't want to change. If you wake up and figure out what's going on now, first of all, you have to change everything because everything changes. You can't unring the bell. Once you wake up, you're up. But then you have to deal with the ridicule. Some people won't say it to your face. Most people don't say shit to my face, but they say it behind my back. And it is what it is. And it's like, hey, here's all the documentation to prove what I'm saying. Here's all the documentation to prove the words that I'm telling you. Or here's your favorite elected official effing you directly in your A. And here's the video of him saying it. And they still just don't want to hear it. They rather just call you crazy. People don't want to be called crazy because they all want to fit in. I think over the last 15 years, I've shown that I don't care about fitting in. I'm doing this because I don't know why I woke up. I was perfectly happy being a complete and utter horrible human being, doing what I was doing, ingratiating myself. You know what I mean? And then I woke up and it just won't go away. Period. It just won't go away, dude. So I travel and I meet you guys face to face. If I can help you build a greenhouse, if I can help you fix your camper, if I can help you do anything, I do. And I don't videotape it. Hey guys, there's a YouTube video of me helping. No, you don't do that, man. Especially the people that I meet, they don't want to be on camera. And I respect the hell out of that. You know what I'm saying? It's like praying outside so everyone can see it. You don't do that. I wouldn't say that. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. He is, but he's a piece in a big, big pile. You know what I mean? Really, really, really. Same. You ain't alone. That's what I've been telling people for the longest time. You ain't alone. We're just separated. You know what I mean? Nice. Yeah, that second part, God sees what you do. That's what makes me turn around and pick up something that I might have dropped on the ground. You know, doing the right thing even when no one's looking. Yeah, I ain't Mr. Beast. I'm not donating and writing my name. Mr. Beast. Well, if you're going to donate to somebody that got beat up, donate $1 million, dude. Period. If I had $500 million, I'd give somebody $1 million. No problem. I'm stupid like that. But at any rate. All right, guys, it is 8:00. And my nose is getting, what is that? Does anybody know? The more I run my, I can't say some of my more clever terms for that because Christianity, but man, they're funny. I run my mouth so much when I'm doing a live stream that at like a 50 minutes to an hour, my nose starts getting stuffed up. I don't know what that means. In high school, you had 30 friends, college 15 since I woke up. Yeah, well, you do have friends, dude. I don't know who you are. I think I do know who you are. But I got better than that. It's a good one, but I got better than that. Well, sometimes it's right here, but if I use it on camera, people are like, Richie, you shouldn't use that. It'll turn you into a drug addict. It's like, if my biggest problem in life turns out that I'm addicted, what are you in for? Oh man, I got addicted to that nasal spray, and next thing you know, I was pleasuring men behind a Wendy. No, that wouldn't happen. You know what I mean? I've been way worse than that. Yeah, me too. And here's the other thing. I remember when people started, I have to be a mouth breather, dude. My nose has been broken 17 times. 17 times. You see the big scars down the middle where my nose was on the wrong side of my skin? I've told the story before. I got my nose fixed one time. I'm all strapped up over the face, and they gave me perks. So I took a bunch of perks, and for some reason, I found it humorous to keep poking my wife, my actual wife at the time, in the butt with a knife. I wasn't stabbing her, but I was being a dick. And she said, one more time, do it one more time, I'm going to punch you in the face. And I went, poke. And she turned around to fake punching me in the face, and she literally elbowed me in my nose that I just had out on an operation table the day before. So my new nose got instantly broke by my wife because I was an asshole and I effed around and I found out. So, yeah. I know, but it does help, but it's only once in a while, man. It's only once in a while. The beauty of that is it's a live stream. So when it's over, it's up. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, there's a reason Pharmacia is destroying our country. They couldn't be doing any of this stuff right now, FYI, if they didn't first flood it with crack cocaine. Not just cocaine, crack. And they were like, wow, this is working out really well. But not enough white people. They were dumping it in lower income neighborhoods that turned into ghettos, that turned into gangs. And then they started glamorizing the gangs that showed up once our military brought crack cocaine into the United States. Gangs rose up because there was millions to be made. Now you got dudes with guns. And then Hollywood said, hey, let's start making movies about all this so the kids out in Illinois and kids down in Arkansas can start wearing their pants on the wrong side of their ass, talking like a different culture completely, and shooting each other so they can be like people on television. And they were like, this is working out well, but we need more white people. And DuPont said, dude, I got you. No problem. We got this pill that we give to people when they're dying. They're dying. They're not coming back. They're dying. This makes them comfortable. But we could change the name and then pay doctors money to give this incredibly addictive, one molecule better than the best heroin on God's green earth. And then they'll circulate it everywhere. We'll turn them all into drug addicts. And that's what they've done. And then after that, they were like, America is now completely weakened because it wasn't like this. It wasn't like this in the 70s, man. You know what I mean? They did all this and they couldn't have done it. They couldn't be where they're at right now if they didn't flood the country with drugs. And now they make Netflix shows about it. And it's just no big deal. No big deal. Yeah, I heard about that stuff. I've heard about that stuff. I don't know. I just saw it. Don't be politically correct. Where is it? I'm pretty sure I said that, brother. I'm not politically correct. And I've actually got the card. I grew up with the Andersons, brother. They were holding kilos for Pablo. So they had me hold them for them in a lockbox at my house with 2 locks. I got a key. They got a key. The Andersons, look them up. Well, here's an idea. Their names were Pooper, Laron, and Malik. back in the early 80s. So I got the card. I just don't ever use it. But I'm saying these were lower income neighborhoods before they turned into ghettos. Crack and all that turned them into straight up ghettos. You know what I mean? So do you keep saying that over and over and over again? Or is somebody else doing that? Because it's starting to freak me out. Yeah, that stuff shouldn't even exist from what I'm told. Adderall is basically meth, and what's the other thing? Adderall and Ritalin. You mix those together, you put them in a spoon, you can bang them up. A bug out bag? No, not really, man. Not really, because when I was making bug out bags, I didn't know about all the technology. I didn't know it was going to come this far, dude. I didn't know it was going to come this far. There ain't no running and hiding. Back when I was making bug out bags, they weren't selling off all the national parks to other countries, you know? At any rate. All right, guys. Richie from Boston. Like, share, subscribe, or don't. And watch that video on Jailbreak. It's worth your time because it's a very polished version of a Richie from Boston video, in my opinion. JMO. Or don't. I'm out, guys. Have a good night. Ooh, wait a minute. F you, Hunter Johnson. Prove it. Now I'm out.